Right, you hear me? Are we on push to talk on Skype? I don't remember.
There we go.
You hear me okay?
Yeah, I hear you.
All right.
Okay.
So which one are we going to do now?
I'm going to try that helipad base. See where we
Are you
go.
going to go for that one?
Just see.
All right.
Let's see what kind of shit it's got in depth and whether I got the patience. We'll find out. If it...
Dude, after that DDX, and it's such a shame I couldn't, that screwed up halfway through recording it. But after doing that frigate, why do they make those boats in so many pieces? Why isn't it just one piece?
I think the idea is because the engines draw calls and all that stuff. It's easier on the engine. Like for instance, like when Dice did the Carrier
Everything's
Wasp
being used all at the same time anyway.
It is, but I think the calculations it's easier on the system when it's small chunks.
All right. So
I don't really
think
understand
about this. Okay. I have a couple of more boats of about the same size as that frigate. If I choose to make them statics, is it best that I separate them into pieces like that?
If they're
and then here was another thought I had. How about if you made a dummy bundled mesh and then attached all the static objects to it? Would that work as a player controlled object? I know it's something to think about, isn't it? So, for example, the DDX has that player controlled object as the gun. So what would happen if I attached all the static objects of the DDX to that player controlled object, the main gun?
The problem I saw with doing that was that it sometimes doesn't calculate, like it doesn't give you all the collision materials.
Right.
Like it's supposed to, because I've tried that with, I want to say it was that stupid Titan. When I was screwing around with the Titans.
Because we've got a static a static plate on our LCAC, and it's still there. You know,
right.
when we were trying to get it to transport the vehicles. But they just kept bouncing up and down in the air.
What I ran into, I think, was material issues with doing it that way. That's, I mean, it's one of those things you can experiment with it.
Right.
But I found when I tried adding like you making a bundle out of it, it tends to take the first object's collision material and use it across the board, and so it kind of ruins all the decal collisions and stuff. Right. That's what I seem to recall that being the issue. But.
Okay. That's a really nice model, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. I don't know what the textures look like in game, but it doesn't look too bad. Like the design is nice anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So, let's importer. If this thing is correct. Oh, isn't that a bitch?
Once again, life gives it to you in the ass. Look at that.
Thanks, guys. So they didn't model both pieces from 0, so therefore it has to be moved in max, and then
same as the DDX. They did 3 pieces for the DDX correctly, and then 2 pieces they didn't get right.
All right. That's annoying. All right. So basically, this needs to move independently. So you'd have
Can
to
you change the coordinates on that to match the main model?
So you would have to affect object and move the object into place. Oh crap.
Multiples.
Yeah. Forgot.
Did you move it back? Yeah.
There. Yeah.
There we go. See, this is why I like watching you and recording them, because not only do I get all the good information, watching you do everything properly, but I also get to show cock-ups that even the most experienced modeler makes. And, you know,
Right.
when I make those mistakes, and I will, at least I know, you know, why.
That makes sense. Boy, it's a pain in the ass.
Yeah, how you gonna line that up? I would use that doorway definitely as a lining up point.
Yeah, there's multiple places that you gotta look. That's what makes it a pain in the ass.
That's if they modeled it right. Yeah. We use the doorway, then that hole in the top as a verification, I guess.
Yeah, well, if you got 3 planes you got to worry about. So.
Yeah, X, Y, and Z.
I'm trying to think of how I could easily do it, where I could do an alignment, but I can't.
Is there an elevator there?
No.
Okay, it does look like they
This?
were thinking. No, it just, with that piston in the floor, it makes me wonder if they were going to attach the X-Pack elevator.
Yeah, I don't know. Could be. It's hard to say.
Or maybe it had its own elevator, like a flat elevator.
I don't know if the snaps tool would work for at least getting it down to the floor level or not. But there isn't, because there is no floor level with this. That's the problem. Because it's completely separate. Does this thing even stamp in a line?
I don't know. I've never placed it.
Let me see something. Let's look in the, see if it's got an anchor, because if so, I wonder if I could convert the coordinates. Well, if it does, it's not in the tweak. No. I bet you this doesn't even stamp in a line. It would be a bitch to put it in a map, too.
I didn't even know that stamped in a line.
That's what they used. They used it as a bundle. I think there's a decimal movement. It's got to occur. I think it's 394.5. I want to back up. Hang on, I got an idea. Okay. So try something. Copy.
Now to enter.
394.5. Trying to remember what the coordinates.
On the
349. 5. That's back, so I think it's 34 point. Let's try that. Because there's a direct equivalent, but it's five. Curious to see. I need an overhead. That might be it. Okay, so the decimal points, I knew there was a direct equivalent, but the decimal points in a set position of an add template bundle, if you want to transpose it in max, you need to move the decimal place over based on what your, units are in max. It's not a direct. So like this 1.186 would become 11.86.
Mm-hmm.
I think that'll place it the way it was intended. So let's try this. See if it'll put it where it belongs. Paste. Oops, you bastard. That one. Ah, shit. Undo. I'll just type it. It's fucking easier. 11.86. Okay. And then 98. Yeah, 98.195. No, wait a minute. The X and the Y and Z are flipped.
I was
That's
going
right.
to say that a little bit ago.
That's right.
Because what's front is back and what's back is front.
Correct. So this 34.95 is correct. 34.95. That is, and then 11.86 or Z 11.86 and then 98.195. Oh, minus. Shit. Back up. This should be negative. 98.195. There. Oh, that's so freaking annoying. But at least it gave me something to go by. And in theory, this should be perfectly aligned according to what the modeler set it up to be. Oh, yeah, good fun. So now that that's there, what we ought to do, is probably, well, since I don't know, I'd have to test it, but what I could do is re-export that as that, and then you wouldn't even need the positional coordinates for the bundle if it works. And if the bundle doesn't work, you could put the two pieces out, stamp in a line, and they should just line up perfectly every time. You know what I mean? But it doesn't. So
that means we have to revisit any maps that have that object in already.
There's that possibility, but in theory, no. If it works as a bundle with the collisions the way they are correctly, in other words, the different materials and the decal when you shoot them work and all that stuff for the interior. All we would have to do is alter and just remove the coordinate value in the bundle for the interior, because it would be exported to be at 0 of the original helipad, right? So that way it wouldn't affect it shouldn't affect the maps because it should be in the maps as a bundle anyhow. if you were to change it from a bundle to, place separate objects, yeah, it probably would affect the coordinates that were placed in there, is what I'm guessing. Because technically there shouldn't be, if it's put in the map as a bundle based off the main object, there shouldn't be a, what do you call it, a static objects call out to positional coordinate of just the interior, because it's already controlled in the bundle. You know what I mean? But anyway, the main thing is getting the call 3 done. So now we've got that part in there. How the hell are we going to do that? Shit, for a minute. Now I'm just thinking about how to tackle this. What makes this so hard is this: you've got stairwells, you've got tunnels, you've got, so doing like a box model, encompassing model is out of the question, because the major playable area is the tops of this thing.
Right. It's exact opposite of the DDX.
Right.
Because the DDX was a box, and then you tunneled through it. Now this
is a fucking nightmare, to be honest. I'm trying to think of a way that could easily be done. I just don't know. Just do it. So I'm just trying to think of it in terms of if I went box, I could easily make this work externally.
Right.
Well, not box, but I mean, model around each piece, try to encompass each piece as a surface on the top to access. When I get to this point.
How about this? You do it the same as you did the last one. Have a flat plate at the bottom, and then extrude up the sections.
If I did that, the problem is there's no way to really account for the internal section, because you've closed it off. Right. You know what I mean? That's why I'm saying it's like, how do you get there from here? The only way that I can see, that's the thing. You could easily, like, for instance, take a box, right? Just a tiny box, and start at one corner where you can start at a stairwell, right? and run like a path all the way through to each location, right? The problem with that is then you have no walls here that intersect the ground, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you have to somehow do it where you can extrude down in the places you need to make the bridge, so to speak, and then extrude down. And as you get through it, you get to, that would work sort of okay, as long as you can account for all these walls intersecting the ground so that the mesh won't go through it.
And cloning 2 and just working from that's not going to work either.
Right. So then when you get down to this point, you've got interior walls that you got to contend with, right?
Mm-hmm.
In theory, because if it's off the ground, the mesh is only going to go where you lay the tiles, so to speak, right?
Well, I know, looking at that object, a percentage of that is actually below ground, because where you were looking at the other view, the stairs, there you go. that gives you the height.
Right.
That shows how much of it is actually buried.
Matter of fact, yeah, this is right close to the ground, if not under. Holy crap. How would you do that?
Well, they just hollow out the ground, don't they?
I gotta use a box just to get an idea of where our ground level truly is. So the ground level should be somewhere in this neck of the woods, according to that. I want to highlight the interior. Yeah, according to this, the interior is actually underground. If those stairs are aligned where they're supposed to be. Yeah. Well, that's obnoxious. How the hell are you going to do that?
Maybe the first steps below ground.
Well, the problem is if this goes below ground, you'd have to have the ground dug out in that area.
I'm sure they've done that, obviously, because you use the exact coordinates that they had in their tweak file.
That's freaking bizarre. I'm not really sure about this one. But this is where I was saying there's some of these are freaking almost damn near impossible to meet all the rules that you're trying to meet, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And it takes a bit of time and thinking and trying to determine, well, how do I want to do this here? How can I capture all these aspects without breaking something, you know? But if it didn't have internals, this wouldn't be so bad, you know? Or if it didn't have, you know, features that were walkable or important technically to be walkable. And this model is all twisted and weird, which makes it really hard to do it. Very time consuming because, as you can see, it's, you know, the straightest sections are anywhere from here up.
Well, obviously, the modeler who made it wasn't thinking far enough ahead.
Well, yeah, and then
Cole 3. If he was thinking far enough ahead, he would have made it straight there for a start. You know, he would have made things easier for himself.
But in reality, there are weird shape objects in the world. You know, it makes sense, but you know, it depends on where you start your model too. You can start from the other end and then worry about this last. You know, there's ways to find the most square area and then, you know, work from there. What this, damn it. Why is that there? Eh, like that. Box over here. Trying to figure out where you would even start with this. I would say you probably want to to make it the easiest is probably this nice flat area that's actually square to begin with.
The big room.
The trouble is too, is you'd have to make it fairly thin because the walls of the interior, you know, there isn't a lot of gap between the top and the bottom. Let me do something. So what if we Alt X? Oops. I gotta hide some of this shit. I need just one of each. 1, 2, 3. Hide all, hide unselected. Wait a minute. Hide all. Select that. 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 Yeah. Okay. So then if we do X there. I don't have my views on for a box. I think the green, you can see the green edges are the bits and pieces for the internals.
Mm-hmm.
So if you make the box, you look at that from, let's get the perspective right here, front there. That's the only gap you've got. So your box would have to be rather thin. Because my thought was, is if I don't know if I pull that off. You can't walk under that area, can you? No. Okay. It almost have to be like a, I don't know how you describe that, like a tunnel horseshoe almost like. This box would have to be really thin. Talking like maybe a fucking. Okay. I gotta go back and turn that back off. Okay. Reselect it. Get on, touchy. Just wanted to kiss the top. Right there. So how the hell would you do that? trying to think ahead of what would happen when I got to here. This is deceivingly very complicated. Because when I got across here, say I built the floor, and then try to, then you got to somehow try to extrude the walls down below the ground so that it can't mesh through it. You got to go across, you run your way around this way, which from here on, you might be able to do it easier. You might. I say that it's not. It's still not easy.
And that's a ramp there as well. So you got to transition up as well. See that ramp in the middle?
Yes.
You know. So it's a true three-dimensional object.
Now here's the thing too, though. With a box designed like an encompassing box type, you could get away with it. I'm thinking. It's just going to be kind of complicated when you get to a certain point. So you'd almost have to be honest, this is harder than the subpen because of all the weird ass features. Say you did a box, but let's talk to hell with it. See what happens here. So you got this thing here. So the tricky part of this is you would have to get the, let me see something. Oh, poly. So what would happen if you start with the square end? Like this is all square. It gets stupid over here, but so if you were to just trying to, so let's bring this in to say this point. Fucker. We want to keep those intact there. That's enough. Leave all the extrusions out of the equation for the moment. Within reason. I'm just wondering if you could follow the outline, create a fully encompassing box, right? So if I started from here, you might be able to get away with it. You gotta kind of visualize it by doing it, but let's say you did that. So then, let's see here. No, actually, even simpler than this. Let's do this. See, this is all I'm doing right now. There's no way I'm going to get this. I'm going to do this today. But what I am trying to do is come up with a game plan on how to get it done. So if we were to say do that, just get this even as I can. Okay. And say did is I wonder if we could do it like this. So connect to, so you can do 2 or more at a time if you want to by using this feature there. And we move those in line. And what you want to see is, turn this, there we go. Get this lined. Let's just go inside, just slightly. No, I want outside. Just outside. No, something about that far. Ain't got to be perfect because it's not a walkway there. Okay. And say you extrude that. Because what we want to do is maintain the shape of the outline of what it's supposed to be. So what we would have to do, stop there. How would I do that? Okay, having a brain fart. What would I do from here? Yes, I would extrude it again. Okay. Sometimes it's like you gotta think on a whole nother plane sometimes to come up with a way to do it, you know? So I'm gonna just encompass that way. And then I'm gonna go this angle. You would have to, yes. Have to extrude this out. At least to that point. Well, that right there. Then we would do here. It's funny what happened there. I think I had something selected I shouldn't have.
Yeah, you had the right hand side selected when you only wanted the end. Yeah.
I was gonna say that looked a little goopy. All right, so let's go just beyond there. And then what we can do, think. If you lose it, just move it. Don't extrude again. There we go. And we're gonna connect. Not one this time. Keep it tight to it. We can always another set of connections there to come. Since they stick out quite a ways, I don't know how much of it does, but let's do a connect.
I think most of that's below ground. All the true verticals are probably below ground. Only the angle bits are above ground.
They may be. I don't know. Like that sticks out quite a ways. I just don't want it to namish through it. So if you're in doubt, you know, it doesn't hurt to accommodate it. I need 1, 2, 3 of those. Let's just do that. Yeah, they stick out quite a ways, so if it's just barely above the surface even, it's still going to cause an issue, so it's probably worth it. Then this part. So, because our idea is just to get our outline right to start with. Then you could tunnel through it for everything else, I'm thinking. That's the only way I can think of that might be doable. Do that.
I also think it's easy to overthink this.
Yes.
At some point, you just have to get stuck in, I guess.
Yeah, you gotta dive in and just experiment until you come up with what you're doing, you know. So, like, for instance, this one here, go a little beyond. And then this here would get somewhere in that neck of the woods. And then you would have to go over this side and add or move. So in this case, I think I'm going to add one. And only one. You bastard. Check. Just wide enough there. That's probably good. Extrude. I would do to save myself having to do connections is just re-extrude it. I could just go like this.
So you don't have to keep hitting extrude. You can just do extrude after extrude after extrude without.
Yeah, if there's areas that you're concerned, you know, that you want to be a certain way. So like the overhang of this really doesn't matter. But you got to go beyond enough to be able to create a tunnel setting on top. So.
Right.
And then like this thing, what I do is somehow, hopefully this will work.
Come out to the point. Yeah.
And then to clean it up, let's just go just beyond there. Going underneath. That this is walkthrough, but that poses a problem.
What's the problem?
The fact that you should be able to walk through here.
Well, we can. It's just the bots won't be able to.
Yeah, you could either go to the length and detail to, you know, add what you need to shape this so that it just sticks out at that point. You could do that. So like if I was to take bottom view, I was to take these. Okay.
Go up.
I can at least go up to
the underside of that mushroom part, and then just
and then what you would do,
2 lines the other way and come back down with the stem. Is that what you were going to say?
Well, I was going to say you could that and connect one, right? And then you'd have to do it one more time. And you could basically bring that right almost close to that, and then grab those 2 and continue on up. Or 3, sorry. And you may have to adjust it to suit. And of course you could widen or, you know. But you can't like bisect another polygon. That's so it's you're only going to get, you'd have to keep adding detail in order to pull it off, you know. So.
Sometimes less is more.
Sometimes.
Make sure you don't get any intersecting vertices. That's what it.
Self-intersecting faces, yeah.
Yeah, those things.
Just checking to see if that's going to work. Looks like it might. So anyway, we've gotten that far. So then, let me look at that. Yeah. So then we got to extrude those. Just far enough. Turn it around. I'm not sure that's going to work.
What
I did there on the
arch?
It might triangulate all right. If not, you can. That's why it's important when you get done with this whole thing in normal quads to save it and have an iteration that you can go back to and modify it, because it's a hell of a lot easier than when it's triangulated.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's accounted for. Now, this is where it's going to be fun, because you've got this overhang. So, how do I want to do that? To be quite honest, I think the easiest thing to do would be probably to split it there.
On the underside of that wall point.
Yeah, and
it'll give you a nice clean.
Bring it down enough to have some tunnel capability. I'll extrude that. Move it just enough. Yeah. And then you'll have to extrude again with that. Somewhere in that neck of the woods, whatever. Then you'll have to go down below. Oh, there we go. Extrude that back down, hopefully to the right.
So can you do the same height?
Yes.
I don't suppose it matters that you're too exact, right? Because it's below.
No, but you can easily just, grab a coordinate. So we've got these setting it at, because the more identical they are, the easier it is to modify it later. So if needed. So what we'll do is we'll just copy that there. And then we're gonna take this one and this one and extrude it. This is where it's going to get dicey for this side. So I'm going to stop there for a moment. Finish this one up. I made a mistake there, see? Forgot that I got to grab this bottom one too. There we go. And we go like that. What we might want to do here is bring this down lower.
So it lines up with the arch, yeah.
Correct. Because it's a downward slope, so.
Yeah.
And then we'll just extrude that again. Somewhere in that neck of the woods. Yeah, we'll do the same thing. And I want to keep that slope going, so to speak, just because I want it to maintain below the level of there. And then we'll do it again. And then you'd have to do the same thing we did before. I mean, a lazy way would just extrude out enough right even. You could do it that way too, but because we've sloped this line, it's going to screw up the straightness. So to fix that when you have that issue, so you can, like, if it goes kind of crooked, you can use the scale tool and you can scale it, but it may change the height. So what I'm going to do is just, I'm going to get it close, you know. That's good. I'm going to grab this one here and just borrow it. Which is pretty even there. And then do the same thing here. Bring him over. If you want to get silly, you can always just grab these and just attempt to move them up. And just extrude what you need for that. There. And repeat and rinse the other side. So that one only needs one there. Grab this one. Bring him over. Oh, what am I doing? My bad. So this one, just gonna do that. And like I say, if you are worried about it, you can always, like I said, you can do the scale tool and just scale that so that it's square. And the same with this one if you want. Move him up. And 1, 2, extrude. Close enough. Okay, then hopefully I was careful about this. Yeah, kind of. This part, because it's low enough to the floor, we should be able to just extrude a section out for this. So just grab that and that, and connect to. Being lazy. Looks like that one's about right. Yeah. Close enough for the doorway is all that matters, really. Anyway, there's that. Extrude him out. That gives us a platform to be able to get in there. There, compass that. Okay, now the fun stuff where we've got to kind of do our own alignment, hand alignment to try to keep this in square with the model.
Is that angled piece head height, do you think? The little piece you just finished, the extrude out. Below that, it has an angled piece. I'm wondering if that's head height. Zoom back a little bit. I don't think it is. Oh no, maybe. I think you might need to bring that extrusion down again.
Yeah, I might have to take basically these
I think
edges.
that bottom section there, where you can see that horizontal line on that up post, I think that's ground level. I think the angle goes from point. Yeah, that's exactly what I think. Yeah.
Close enough. Should.
Because if you look at the stairs, you see how high the first step is.
Yeah. Just make.
And I bet that's all because that room is below ground.
Just trying to see if I can see inside here. Yeah, that'll be fine. We can still get inside there and navigate to create the corridor. So, all right. And then, actually, I might widen that just a slight bit. Yeah, there. And then
bring out that near outside.
I'm gonna try.
Is that selected? I can't see that. There you go.
I grabbed one beyond it. That's easy to do too.
How many times I've cocked up some selection and had to go back a few times to correct.
This is a tricky part, is getting that square by eye, because I mean, there's nothing that I can really reference.
Yeah.
So all you can do is get it close and then, adjust bits and pieces to get it as close as you can as you go, So this one,
because I keep saying there's always there is some tolerance here. The bots don't need to get within an inch of every wall.
Mm-hmm. That's a tricky one there. So what I'm gonna do with this one, I want to back up a little bit. How the hell do I want to do that?
What are you thinking?
Ah, you bastard. I don't want that selected. There. Trying to think how I'm gonna I'm trying to avoid thin triangles, so if I accommodate for this tunnel, hang on a second, maybe that'll be fine. I'll adjust it after the fact, I think. So I extrude this out to here. That's probably good enough. One more time to there. No, I only want to extrude the top. So yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll do that. Well, that makes it a pain in the ass. Can't move that. Oh, yes, I can. Never mind. So for this, I want to try to get that vertice that's down here. Oops. I want to get the height of this one over there and copy it over so that we can get back to square again. So this one. Z, copy. Paste. There. Then we can adjust the height of that where we want it. That's probably good. And we'll extrude this one out. What the hell?
Yeah, like you went out on a funny angle.
I think I grabbed the wrong widget.
Oh.
I don't know. It's because we've changed it. So what you can do if it does that is this view. That's your whatever it is. Sometimes you can get away with just setting it to local, so local to the face, and then it's squared up for you.
Okay.
It's kind of weird how that works. And I want to see if I'm kind of off here. Looks like it is. I want to center that, so let's move it over just a smidge.
What's good is I'm beginning to anticipate what you're going to do next.
Right. And any time you got a doorway or certain areas, doing a small extrude like we did here gives you a little bit of, adjustment after the fact. You see something's not aligned right or it's not quite right. Not to mention it gives you a point of extrusion that has an edge that's available in the pathway. So like if I was to accommodate for this door when we go to the internals, I would extrude it all the way up to just past the entryway point.
Right.
And then extrude again, and then extrude again, so that I get this one poly that I can extrude into the building, and then the same thing, extrude a small ways into the thing, and then extrude again, and then I can widen the, it's just...
Even though the term a rule of thumb is politically incorrect and these days,
yeah,
it's a good practice to get into.
You're increasing polys,
extra extrusion isn't going to hurt anything, is it? So
no, other than just adding polys, right? So you figure you're going to increase polys big time when you go to doing the triangulation. So the less is better, but you can only do it with it, keep it low within reason. It's still got to be accurate. So this one's going to be fun. So I'm going to extrude that a little ways, I think. So I got to encompass that part. And then I might have to adjust that a little bit. But... So what I'll do here, I don't know if this is the right way to do it really, but I'm thinking what I can do. In this case, I could just set this to the height of, and then let me see how that'll work out. That'll work. Okay. So, yeah. So I could extrude that again. And maybe that's a better option, because putting it at kind of a weird slant that may cause problems later, because this is so narrow. When it tries to triangulate, it might have it.
Right.
It's kind of a judgment call thing. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it's fine. But this way, you should have better luck with it. I'm going to just go down to that level, of what the rest of it pretty much is. You can intersect as deep as you want in the ground. It really doesn't matter. Unless it's an object that it does matter for some other reason, like it's, There we go. All right, so we got that much anyway. So now I can go back to this face. And I think split the difference so that I got an easy access edge for this thing. And we're going to just go, I'm going to go up to this point. Go up to this point. Right on through. And since we're at the end, technically, I should just be able to just stretch that on out. And we want to go beyond the stairs to a point where we're going to anticipate coming into it at a lower point so that it bisects the ground enough where our entry point is. Which at that point, I want to turn that back to view, I think. Yeah, I don't know. Let me see this. I don't think the height's going to matter. I think that's fine. What's going to matter is your entry point here. So, like, if you were to take this one here, you may want to bring that down. And what you're trying to shoot for is a solid plane from, so you see how the stairs are bisect like that? You kind of want to aim for about the mid-tread. So I would bring this up to at least, so if your imaginary line was to run through the treads, you'd want it to continue on to that point, something like that. I don't know. You can adjust that as you start. Once you get to the top, you can adjust that later. Once you get like extruded in and up to here, then you can look at the side and go, okay, yeah, I'm bisecting about perfect. And you'll be able to adjust this to compensate as well as get this right up even with the floor level. You know, so it's just to get you a starting point, right? All right, so then we would go in here, since it doesn't really matter. What do I want? I think I'm going to just cheat and borrow these two and just move them. I don't think it's going to hurt anything on this side. And that one. Oh, shit, I forgot. The widgets. This is where it gets fucking pain in the ass. Because the widget isn't... Because we've changed our... From our square section, we've modified this to go at an angle. Again, that whole local versus view will fuck with you. And sometimes local won't be right. And you're just like, oh, what the fuck? How do I get this squarely done, you know? So I think local will work on this, but the other won't. So I'm just going to grab those. Move them over. That's probably enough there. That one. That one. Move over. That should be okay. This one's going to be a pain in the butt. So this one I'm going to cheat and bring it way over. I'm hoping this will work. Because it's got that angled one there. Oops. Didn't want to. I want one. I think we can get away with this. So this I'm going to have to do the old square it up and then move it up kind of thing. Close enough. That. And that side doesn't have it. So now do this one. Encompass that whole deal there.
Mm-hmm.
Fortunately, how am I going to do that? That's not how I wanted to do that. Yeah, I just thought of an easier way of doing that. So what I want is this. I just want to bring that out. Okay. Then what we'll do is we'll grab the
Bottom.
Yeah, the bottom there. And
you're going to go up or down though?
Come on, you bastard. Pick it. There. Oh boy. So local view isn't working for me for that. World. I just want straight up and down, damn it. View. View will get me there. Good. So then we're just going to try to drop that down. And bring that back up.
And that didn't mess up the stairs at all.
Stairs?
Yeah. Where the ramp's going to go for the stairs. Because you brought that line down.
No,
I'm kind of following along, but
right.
no, it didn't.
No, it won't, because this is only the outside, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you go to do the stairs, you're gonna extrude into it and tunnel through, right?
Mm-hmm.
So with that said, we also need to, as you can see, we got to bring these in, right? So, and then I'm gonna attempt to do that with the ring tool and see if it'll work. And of course, that's annoying. Stupid.
Well,
this is gonna fuck it up because once you get off the fucking center of the model, it's gonna go kind of goofy. So I wonder if I could
get back on the square.
Try something. Screen. I need to see the axes from the top. See if I can find a view that'll work for me, but that's so weird. So in this case, I don't know. I think you just got to kind of you have to wing it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
That's so stupid. I want it in relationship to the face, not the other. Well, what we could do instead of what I did is
we come up with a square face.
Well, yeah. What I'm thinking is
and do the retool from that end. Oh.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if this will work for me. That's not gonna work either. I'm not very good anyway. I see. Let's see what it does. Ah, you bastard. There you go. I'm gonna go well beyond there. Then I'm kind of curious if I can get away with this. Close enough. Side. Hey, you fucker. Something like that. That's not exactly perfect, like, but it should get there, because I could see this would probably split right across for a triangle, so that should be fine. Now, there's one thing that we didn't do, and that's need to get this like the other side was. Which I'm kind of curious how did I do it on the other side? It's a rather large hole in the bottom there, you know, as far as the width of that object. I would probably go in and try to tighten this up so it's just a little, either a little square that encompasses this, you know, and do the same for this other one. Otherwise, it's just not going to, I mean, on mesh anyways, so. Not sure how I was going to do that one. Last time I just grabbed these. Oh, you bastard. There. No. What did I do last time? Wait a minute. I just thought of a way to do it probably. What if we do this? Okay. Yeah, that's probably high enough there. And then we take this one here, raise it up. Think. And these two, what we can do is connect there. Connect there. Pull that down. I didn't want bevel. I want that. Which then that way you've got more real estate to mesh. You know? Yeah, that's compass pretty much fine. Which makes me think I should have done it that way. But see, you know, you don't think of things like that sometimes. while you're doing it. Oh, all I need to do here to fix that is the same basic thing. Since I don't like that, I can just bring it up. I can probably bisect that and get this readjusted. Ah, what did I do? I must have had two clicked. Try this again. 1, 2. Ah, you bastard. It keeps picking shit beyond.
Mm-hmm.
There. What the fuck? That doesn't make sense. I don't know why it's doing that.
Try select some at the bottom.
There. That's better. Okay. Well, if I just... What the fuck, you bastard? We can maybe adjust that like that. Yeah, fuck it. That'll work. Grab these 3.
The more lines you get, the harder it gets, right?
Oh, yeah. Definitely. Whatever. Actually. What I'll do is let's grab the vertices real quick here. Let's align them so I don't have that all fucking scaled all wacky. Same thing with that one. That one's all out of alignment too. Okay. I don't know how, but it was there. All right, then. Bring this up. Yeah, fuck it, that's probably good enough. And just extrude that center down. I go quite a ways down too, just to make sure it's in the ground. And this is poking out, so I'm going to move him out a little bit. What the hell? Ugh. I thought I fucking aligned those. How the hell did that not work? Is it an optical illusion? What the fuck is going on here? How come that isn't scaling right?
Because you've got it set on screen instead of local.
Oh, for fuck's sakes. View. Yeah. Thank you.
I'm paying attention. But I'm not thinking like you are. So. Following.
I thought something was fucking goofy there. Why the hell it did that, I don't know to begin with, but there. So now, if we look at the top view, it appears we have the whole thing outlined like it's supposed to. I think all the tunnels are taken into account. Let's turn this off.
I think that arch there, I think you clipped one of the corners. But...
What the fuck happened there? I must have grabbed those earlier somehow. Something went really fucking wonky there.
I didn't see you do that.
I didn't either. Fuck. Son of a bitch. Ah, you bastard. All right. Well, that definitely puts a damper on it. I kind of wanted that nice and square. So, how do I fix that? I don't want to back up because I did all that other shit. Oh, what's the
get the height from that one and transfer it across?
Yeah, I'm gonna try. Double check that's about right. Yeah, okay. So I'll just cheat. I'll do it that way. So that means this one should be that one. Copy. Stupid bullshit anyway. Which also means that this should be the same height as that. Copy. Okay, so now it's just these dudes. That looks.
Check under that arch as well, the big arch. I think you clipped the corner of the. You have to go on right underneath. You're still hiding it. That's the right hand side of the big arch.
Oh, right here?
Other corner, opposite side. Yeah, I thought you clipped that. Yeah, can you see it right there? See those? Does that matter?
No, because like saying the mesh is only worried about the ground plane.
All right.
The height matters. Like if it's not high enough, it won't nav mesh without setting special controls.
But that's not considered an intersecting thingy.
No, because it's self-intersecting within the same model. It's just within the same collision.
Same collision. Gotcha.
Right.
So it doesn't matter if one collision intersects with another one or one of the meshes, as long as it's not intersecting with the same. Gotcha.
Right, within the same call 3.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I gotcha. Gotcha now.
Okay. See any other issues? No, just the just this doodad here. So this one, hopefully I can just create a line or two here.
Because you're back on straight and narrow and you're in view, so you shouldn't.
Well, we hope. Yes. Thank God. That's the worst thing when you're doing this is if you have to get all twisty and turny and all of a sudden you need to use that to try to align yourself. It's like fucking a nightmare. You end up having to do it by eye and best you can at times. It's just there's probably some way of doing it, but it's a reset, based off of a face. I don't know how to do it. So. Now, why did I do that?
I don't know why you did that. You're
going to do them both
do
at the
the other one
time.
and pull them out but together so they're a matching pair.
Just tab it, I guess.
So you don't trigger your OCD.
Well, I want it to be even as I can, so yeah, that's safe to move. All right. Check to make sure I didn't have anything else selected.
Yeah, get around the other side and you screwed everything up on the back.
Yeah. So that appears right. So then now you've got something to work from. Now there's no outlet on this thing to the ground, is there? There's only an inlet. Like you can only get in this thing from the stairwells.
Correct.
Right? So what you're gonna end up what you'll end up wanting to do is pick a starting point and start burrowing through it, right? Which starting point is going to be the easiest and ending point. So
wouldn't you start on the stairs first?
Well, there's two stairs, so you could start here and go in and get one started to go back this way and forget about it until the end and work on that last, because then you don't have,
we forgot about that center stairs. I was looking at the ski width one.
Mm-hmm. But because this is the most square and most of the model is here, I'm thinking your almost best bet is to start from here.
Right.
And work your way up and through the complicated section, get it out of the way. Well,
what about working down from that? I'm convinced that's an elevator shaft, by the way. Looking the way that's modeled, that hole in the top, I'm almost certain there's an elevator there.
There could be.
What about working down from that elevator into that big room and then out?
Because you have no entryway inside the model. So since there's no doorway, like there's no you only have a shell, so you have to punch a walkway through somewhere from the outside, right? So to do it there, you really can't. You can't effectively. I suppose you could from the top.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about, coming down through the top, which isn't going to affect the nav mesh at all, but it will get you down into the center of the model relatively easy into that big room.
Yeah, it would. You could do that. I just didn't think of that, but eventually, like I say, you're going to work your way through internally until you get out here, and then you're going to work your way up and around, right?
I was just thinking, pun intended, outside the box.
Yeah,
I know.
That's funny.
But
if you started here, you would work your way in, inside, get the internals all finished, work your way to the outside, work your way up, accommodate this area, this little doodad there, run your way down, and then create your doorways. I would just extrude it out past. So like when you get to the point where you're going to go through, just, plan ahead, like say you extrude up to the point and then at that surface extrude through, because you're going to create new edges and vertices so that you can weld that, closed. But I would get it all done and then worry about, buttoning up or welding in the ends, right?
Right.
But yeah, I suppose you could do it that way. That would be fine. It's either that or you start here at the stairs, but like you said, in this case, that might be easiest to do it this way, I don't know. So if I was to start that, I would, you would have to do your connections because you got to have somewhere to punch a hole in there, right?
Mm-hmm.
The tricky part is this is so high, it's going to be hard to gauge your alignment. So if you do this, probably want to go to orthographic. But that's going to be a nightmare too, because
I can't even look at that and work out what's going on.
Yeah. So you can see that the edges, it's going to be somewhere in that vicinity. So
maybe
so you would just move that in.
Look, you can line it up to the bottom of the elevator shaft. You see that? With that little circle and a triangle, that's the bottom.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So you're gonna, get in there and try to get it close, But then you got to go back to the other view so you can.
Bots don't use the elevators, do
they? No, they don't.
Figured.
And you can't really mesh it, I mean, you could fake mesh it, but then if the elevator's up, they'll fall underneath and get killed.
The elevator would create an island, which is a problem. With
Right.
meshes, so
you just wouldn't include it.
Right.
That's the other issue.
Are
But
the elevators
you could
are they bundle meshes?
What's that?
The elevator itself, is that an actual static object or a bundled object?
I think it's a static, and it's just controlled by an elevator code in the map, just like the carriers when we did those. But what you could do, so you don't have to worry about that so much. I don't know if I got that close or not. It's hard to tell. But it's close enough. Is you could punch the hole in.
Well, you can adjust your hole once you get down to the first level there. Once you get down to the deck, you can.
Well, my thought was is to close it off once you got it started, but I don't think you can.
Or close the door behind you, kind of thing.
Yeah, I don't think you can.
What would the benefit be there?
Well, due to the fact that you've got to do the mesh on the floor too, up here.
Yeah, but you want that hole there, otherwise the bot's going to walk across, and if the elevator's down, he's just going to walk straight through because there's a mesh there.
Well, yeah.
You actually physically want a hole in the top of that mesh so that the bot will walk around it rather than think the elevator's up.
Right.
I mean, I'm hoping I'm right.
I think so.
Yeah.
I've never done it like that. Right. I've always done it from a stairwell or something of that nature. That did not work the way I wanted it to. Nah, screw it. I'm not going to that length. I'm just going to grab these two and let the triangulator figure it out. I'll just do that. Yeah, should be close. Connect. It's not that critical anyway. Okay. So you're saying just do that. And then we can adjust it accordingly when we go through the hole here. Like there. If I can see side here. Would be nice. What the fuck? How do you get a view on that? There we go. That's what I wanted to see. I'm pretty close. That should be all right.
Well, you're inside the hole, which is always a good thing.
Just want to make sure that I got the back edges. Nothing's beyond the floor. It's critical because you don't want it to intersect, right?
Mm-hmm.
I want to see this back one.
Yep, that looked good too. Yeah, I see a gap. Yeah.
Perfect. So then you would bring it down to the level of the floor. It might be all right.
Mm-hmm.
So what it'll do is if the elevators, that's the trouble is if the elevator's down, it's no issue.
Mm-hmm.
If the mesh exists there, but if the mesh exists there, which it's going to because of the way we're doing it, mods could walk into the walls or the elevator while it's up and shit like that. So I'm not sure how we would. The only way you could get away with it
is make that shaft go all the way through the bottom of the mesh, and then leave a hole at the bottom, a hole at the top, and then the bots won't ever enter that tube, that elevator shaft. Would that work?
Not really. But what you could do is, well, fuck. Hang on, let me think here. Since the top, it doesn't matter. I wonder if we could do this. So if I was to take this in, I want to go to the ceiling height. If we did a slight extrude, and we just moved it one way or the other, so probably forward. Oh, you bitch. It's a bad angle. Try it like that. what you could do so that you don't have any nav mesh there, just to get it started.
Okay. Yeah.
Plus, you can see the intersection to know if you're kind of at floor height. So what I'm going to do is just, it's a pain in the ass to do it like that, but see, the only thing you're risking by doing it that way,
These small triangles.
well, is you don't want an intersection up at the top because of the angle or anything, which it doesn't look like it's going to, because we went low enough inside. But
Yeah, you got that gap where the columns are, so maybe that helps.
I see. Yeah, that might be all right. So then you would do, let's see here, what's the door height? I want to go at least a door height, so the nav doesn't cut off.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, something like that. Assuming that didn't fuck anything up. I don't want to extrude it and continue until I know that it's not going to interfere anyway. It looks like it's going to be fine. Yeah, that should be okay. Then extrude it down so that you're straight to start with, because it would suck if you're not straight. That makes it really, really difficult to get it, the whole thing stay aligned through the process.
Right. Especially seeing as you started in the straight section to maintain the.
Got an issue there. All right, so what I'm going to do is shrink this down a little bit.
Another one.
And I need to look through it and see if we're
well, no, you're good there.
perfect clearance. That's fine. That's fine. And then from there, you just go about your merry way, expanding it out, I guess.
Yeah.
So,
If you can find it again.
man, it's a bitch sometimes to get what you want to see it, how you want to see it. So to start with, I'm not going to incorporate the walls. It's not necessary.
So the outside edge of the columns is good enough.
Yes.
Yeah, I think so. So.
I hate doing these.
I'm sorry, dude.
But
I just thought it looked like a nice map.
But it's, it's good to see. If you
No, it is. And it does explain why PoE never nav meshed that map. That map was only conquest. It was never nav meshed for single player.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, this is hard. That's where I have a lot of difficulty, is trying to get at the right view to work in an area. Once you get out of that area,
Can't you hide the whole outside of that
Yeah,
box?
you can. And sometimes they'll go to that length and actually do it. I might do that now.
How do you go about selecting just the outside of the box?
Just like that. But it's still going to be tough to see what I'm doing. But
Right.
just because the zoom on this thing, have you noticed it runs out of zoom sometimes, and it's like,
Yeah.
it doesn't want to go. It's not smooth.
Pete used to say, click on perspective and change it to something else.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, you see in the top left-hand corner where the little plus sign is, where it says perspective, standard, edge faces. Over to the left, you see in the actual window itself where the little plus sign is, and it says perspective, standard, edge faces. Now, come down a little bit. Come down, pull your cursor, that's it. Now go over to the left, and then kind of up and to the left a little bit more, and you'll see 3 words. That's it. Just down a bit. Now, down.
Oh, this?
Yes. If you click the perspective, no, you click the plus sign.
Oh.
Click the perspective. Okay, if you go down to orthographic, that is a different zoom. I don't know if that's going to help, but that was.
It still doesn't. Nah, it doesn't. It just changes it. It's just a pain. That's all.
No, I remember when I was working on the bridge, and it's such a small area to try and work in.
Can't even see anything in there.
Are you using the scroll wheel to zoom in and out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now it's not even the perspective isn't back. That's freaking weird. It looks funny. It's like the zoom got goofy. Standard perspective.
All high quality does is that. And it does the shadows, which is just going to screw you up when you get inside because it's all going to be dark in there.
Yeah. Wait a minute. Did I go fucking...
Did you hide the column?
think so. No.
Okay.
Sorry. But it's all tactic. It's yeah. I had it transparent.
I see.
This is stupid. Can't even get in there. It's acting weird. It's like Zoom Extents is all fucked up. I don't even know how to fucking adjust that. I don't know why he did do it, but it's worse than it was before. My views got all fucked up because now I can't even zoom internally. It's just getting closer and closer to the outside. Views. Oh, what the fuck happened? What the hell? I'm not getting anything in perspective. What the fuck? Redraw. I better save this right now before I fuck it all down. What the hell was this helipad?
Yeah.
B2. I'm gonna close Max because it's getting all wonky.
Is that your butt crack?
Is that what?
Is that your butt crack in the picture?
Yeah.
Sure.
You don't like my plumber's crack?
Oh no, I've had many a nut bolt and washer thrown down mine in the past.
I always like there's a picture. Some dude had a picture of some hot chick with really big hooters, and it's cut off right at where the shirt ends at his ass crack. It was funny as fuck.
I remember seeing a tattoo of a rabbit jumping down a butthole. That was quite amusing.
Why is it still doing this?
Scroll out.
I did. I think it's the screen share. When I stop sharing, I'll fire it up and then I'll reshare and see if it comes back right. It's done it to me before. Stop.
Should I stop recording? Yes.
Yeah, probably.
Incoming video, I guess that's it.
Come on, Poggy. You can just pause it or whatever.
I just stopped it there. I'll restart it again.
Come on. Let me see if this comes right now. Recent. Oh, what the hell did I do with my views? For view settings, standard, default lights only. Oh, what's going on? Am I like zoomed way the fuck out? No. I don't know what happened. How do you reset that shit? Viewports. I don't know what I did to it. Review reference. Huh.
You back yet?
No, I can't figure out why my perspective window isn't working. Let me try switching it again and then have it switched again and then see if it comes right. That's fucking bizarre. There we go. Fucking weird. It just fucking got all wonky for some reason. Let me see if I can get inside it and all that. Yes. No, I can. Yeah, you can.
So how do we do the video thing? Have you got to share from your end?
Yeah. Share. Where is it? Right there.
There's still some roast chicken in the oven, in the fridge. I'll just have that for supper. I'll share some with Jeremy.
It's a romantic dinner for two.
Yeah, since you're all fucking leaving me. I didn't see the shared video yet. Have you started it?
Yeah, I started it.
Oh, so why can't I see it? What have I got to click on? I'm not seeing anything.
Let me stop it again and start it again. Maybe it's fucking up. About now.
Was it right? No, I'm not seeing anything. Perhaps we need to hang up and redial me.
All right.